Plus years, Axiom Space's goal is to build upon the successes and lessons learned over that time while expanding access to low Earth orbit for more countries, institutions, industries, and individuals than ever before. With Axiom Station currently under construction here, we have an update for you on the growth and development of what we intend and how we are going to be the first commercial space station.
We are building the world's first commercial space station, one element at a time.
We think that what we're doing is for everyone, everywhere. This is a global endeavor. Our partner, Thales Alenia in Italy, is in the finishing stages of building the first module, the first pressure vessel.
We are here in the integration and manufacturing area of Thales Alenia Space. Here we have the two cones that will be part of the module. Is also the gate to the module to come in and to come out. The very big cylinder that will be the core of the module. Just to have an idea of the dimension of the real module, you can see me compared with the structure. On these ports, all additional modules will be docked. This is the most complex piece of the entire Axiom module.
We're on pace to build a human-rated spaceship faster than anybody's ever built one.
When we look at our roadmap, we look to see how we can double its capability every 5 years.
It requires a lot of different talents and a lot of different engineering backgrounds, so we've really expanded the team.
I'm working on the time-sensitive network aspect of the space station. So that's the network, have all the flight computers synchronized and actually do the thruster firing at the perfect time.
So this is the command trailer. We're able to control our test stand, which enables us to vary our set pressures, our flow rates into the thruster in order to collect performance data at various OFs and chamber pressure conditions. It's always a blast to come out here, set everything up, and start lighting rockets off.
Behind us, we have the carbon dioxide removal subassembly.
We're going to be creating the most integrated ecosystem that has ever been put into space thus far, which is a really cool thing to be able to say.
I fabricate PC boards and cables and harnessing. This is a life-critical job, and you want to make sure you do the best possible job.
"15 to 20 years from now, we're going to be surrounded by objects that we can't imagine how we live without, that were manufactured in space." I think there's another promise too, and that's why I'm really excited about the AX2 crew. There is this effect that people have gone to space and had. This is called the overview effect. Many people have come back profoundly changed because of their experience. And I think the more people that we can have that see the world as the whole world, the better off we all are.
Now we have some good news. SpaceX core Michael Blasco gave a quick debrief to the AX2 crew to let them know the final timing estimations on their re-entry. So we have an updated estimated time for that loss of signal. This will last about 7 minutes, and we're expecting that to occur GMT 0251 and end at 0258. So again, lasting 7 minutes. We did hear that weather conditions are, direct quote, outstanding. So that is excellent. Once again, it sounds like this will be super visible across the Gulf of Mexico. Once again, we are targeting a landing at around Panama City. So head outside and watch it.
It's going to look awesome. Well, while we wait for more updates, here's a fun list the teams put together about the mission. 15 things to know. A few things that we want to know about this mission. The crew conducted over 20 microgravity research projects. Some of the research conducted on the mission included studying immune dysfunction in tumor organoid models that can help predict and prevent cancer, investigating how commercial spaceflight crew members adapt to microgravity, and exploring how weather modification works in low gravity conditions. The crew held STEAM events with students all over the world. More specifically, they conducted a series of live science demonstrations with students on Earth through amateur ham radio events, a student art competition from space, and engaging in student-led projects with universities like MIT. While docked to the ISS, they orbited the Earth 126 times and traveled a mere 3.33 million miles. AX-2 was the first commercial mission with both private and government-sponsored astronauts. Peggy Whitson is now the first female commander of a private space mission, adding to her accomplishment as the first female commander of the ISS and extending her record for the longest cumulative time in space by an American astronaut to 674 days across her 4 flights. Ali Al-Qarni and Rihanna Barnawi are the first Saudi astronauts to visit the ISS, and Rihanna Barnawi is the first Saudi female to go to space. John Schaffner became the first person from the state of Alaska and first Fairbanksian to fly to space. Axiom Space's Mission Control Center in Houston became the 12th ground segment partner for the International Space Station. For the first time, induced pluripotent stem cells were manufactured in space by astronauts. By studying stem cells in space, we can address the challenges that currently limit us as we study these cells in regenerative medicine across low Earth orbit and down here on Earth. Have a nice live view of our crew in the capsule. Again, you see our mission specialist, Rihanna Barnawi, on the left, followed by pilot John Schaffner, Commander Peggy Whitson, and on the far right, mission specialist Ali Al-Qarni. On that far left, Rihanna Barnawi conducted 7 consecutive days of life science glove box operations during her 8-day docked mission timeframe. So plenty of fun firsts and amazing work done by this crew during their mission. Here's another fun one. Our zero-G indicator, named Gigi, continued the tradition of having the microgravity indicator inside the spacecraft to provide a visual reference for when the crew has reached weightlessness. As the 5th crew member of AX-2, Gigi's mission is to inspire children around the world to learn about space. Gigi is a Build-A-Bear teddy bear wearing Axiom's AX-EMU spacesuit, just like the ones that NASA astronauts will wear on future missions to the moon. AX-2 is a precursor for Axiom Station. These missions are an important step along the journey of constructing the world's first commercial space station. AX-2 also did some tech demos on board. The AX-2 crew successfully conducted 2 Axiom space-led technology demonstrations on the space station, which are trailblazers for the next generation of video communication in space and imagery downlink. Returning with them in SpaceX Dragon Freedom is actually more than 300 pounds of cargo and important data that will impact our understanding of human physiology on Earth and on orbit.
As of right now, we can see AX-2 crew are in their suits, in their seats. They're continuing to follow progress on their tablets and the display screen above their head. We have an anticipated loss of signal coming up in about 12 minutes, a little bit, almost 13 minutes, or excuse me, that LOS will occur in 6 minutes, and we expect that to last for 7 minutes total. And we have an anticipated splashdown time of 8:04 p.m. Pacific, 11:04 p.m. Eastern Time. So up next will be that communications blackout period. This happens every crew mission that we have as they re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. The exterior of the capsule works really hard to basically it's encountering a lot of friction as it is re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, and that actually helps the capsule slow down significantly before we deploy the parachutes. Now, the suits that you see them wearing now, they are fully customized and fitted for each crew member. We can see their visors are now down in the locked position.
And SpaceX Dragon crew entry prep is complete.
Copy that, Dragon. We see your visors are down, restraints are secure, and satchels are also secure. 5 minutes to expected LOS. We will see you on the other side at 0258 Zulu.
0258 Zulu.
Good readback.
Now, for those of you that have been following along, you know that the visors come down for the more dynamic parts of the flight, which of course would be, re-entry would be considered one of those. Those helmets that they have are actually 3D printed, which is, personally, I think, pretty awesome. The outer layer of the spacesuit is flame resistant. They wear hearing protection, both during ascent and re-entry. And you know, the spacesuits look good, but more importantly, they keep the crew safe through all phases of the flight. Now, as we mentioned before, we are targeting a splashdown off the Gulf Coast of Florida near Panama City. Expected splashdown time is 11:04 p.m. Eastern, 8:04 p.m. Pacific. So that's coming up here in just over 16 minutes. The next thing we have coming up in about 3 minutes is the anticipated loss of signal, or LOS, as we hear it referred to on comms. That's a live view of SpaceX Mission Control here in Hawthorne, California.
AX2 is Axiom's second mission with SpaceX, and there are 2 more planned, AX3 and AX4, who will also be in SpaceX vehicles. Back at Axiom headquarters, Michael Lopez Alegria, our chief astronaut, is our commander for AX3, and he is already in training. Mike Lopez Alegria, also known as MLA. And so the AX3 mission is already underway.
or LOS. Once again, this is expected to last for 7 minutes. All right, so at this point, we are entering the communications blackout period, or LOS, loss of signal. This will last for 7 minutes due to plasma formation around the exterior of the spacecraft. During this time, no vehicle telemetry is received by mission control or the recovery team, and no external commanding of the vehicle or voice communication is possible. As a reminder, Dragon is designed to fly itself and continues to autonomously use Draco thrusters to orient itself during the re-entry phase. During re-entry, the vehicle will be slowing down from orbital velocity, which is about 17,500 miles per hour, and it will basically continue to decrease a lot of that deceleration occurring during this atmospheric re-entry. And then the top temperature for Dragon, as I said earlier, exterior temperatures reach about 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. So the crew remains comfortable as we are flowing nitrox, cool nitrox air, both into their suits as well as into Dragon's interior cabin. So while it gets toasty on the outside, and we will see the evidence of that once we get lights shining on Dragon and it's lifted up onto the deck of our recovery vessel, Megan, we will actually be able to see the ablative material on the exterior of the capsule. It'll have some charring on it, which is a good indication that it worked.
I like to call them toasted marshmallows. That's the kind of brown patina it reminds me of.
So once again, we are in the anticipated communications blackout period. We have about 4 minutes remaining. Total runtime for this blackout period is 7 minutes, so we're roughly about halfway through. In previous crew returns, we have sometimes regained communication faster than expected, so probably in a couple minutes we might hear SpaceX Core Michael Blasco start hailing the crew to see if we can regain those communications. Now, our first views of Dragon, hopefully we'll be able to bring them to you soon, but they will be the thermal cameras that will be tracking Dragon's re-entry. If you live on the Gulf Coast, it should be visible, streaking across the night sky. Once again, we have an anticipated splashdown time of 11:04 p.m. Eastern, so about 10 minutes from now. Now at about 18,000 feet in altitude, the drogue parachutes will deploy. And after that, around 6,000 feet altitude, we will have the main parachute deployment. And there's our first live view of Dragon Freedom with the Axiom 2 crew. This is coming from one of our thermal tracking cams. I believe this might actually be the WB plane, the WB-57 plane from NASA. This is a thermal imaging tracking cam. About 2 minutes remaining until we have an anticipated until when we anticipate being able to restore communications with the crew. Once again, the buildup of plasma on the outside of the capsule prevents any communications going to or coming from the Dragon capsule. You can see SpaceX engineers there on console monitoring Dragon's progress as it is autonomously steering itself to the splashdown site off the coast of Florida. Once again, we're targeting a landing near Panama City in the Gulf of Mexico.
And a quite excited small crowd outside of Mission Control here at SpaceX. You can see them there awaiting the return of the 10th mission of crew members on board Dragon.
Yeah, and we're well underway with our second shift operations here at SpaceX headquarters. So we can see some folks, as you can definitely see they're gathering, awaiting more views of. Oh, there's a beautiful shot. We can see that capsule now streaking through the night sky. I believe this camera view might be coming from the recovery vessel or from one of the aerial assets that we have in the area. We're now coming up to the end of the expected loss of signal. So we're now moving toward AOS, or acquisition of signal.
That's incredible.
We should probably hear SpaceX Core Michael Blasco start hailing.
Dragon, SpaceX, comm check.
We have you loud and clear.
Likewise, good to have you back. Expect automated chute deployment.
Dragon cap.
All right, great news there. Those communications have been restored with the Axiom crew. The next event we have coming up.
GPS has converged. Expect nominal altitude for drogue chute deploy.
Copy, nominal altitude for drogue chute deploy with GPS.
Now we expect those drogues to deploy when the Dragon capsule is around 18,000 feet in altitude. And we're roughly a minute and a half away from deployment. Another view coming to us from the WB-57 chaser plane. These are thermal images.
Vimos então o rastro de reentrada da Freedom. E agora vemos então o ponto luminoso. Esse ponto luminoso é uma câmera que está fazendo a captura dessas imagens através de infravermelho. Vemos então aí no painel toda a telemetria de
now standing by for deployment of the drogue parachutes.
acompanhamento da Freedom.
This will be the first of two sets of parachutes that will deploy to help further slow down the Dragon capsule. Looks like they're going now.
Visual on two healthy drogues.
Dragon copy, two healthy drogues.
All right. great news there. Those 2 drogue parachutes have deployed. That helps to stabilize the Dragon capsule and provide that initial deceleration via parachute. Up next, we will have the main parachutes deploy. Vehicle velocity at main chute deployment is about 119 miles per hour, and they deploy between 6,500 and 6,000 feet. And there we can see those drogues pulling away, exposing the main parachutes. There are 4 main parachutes on the Dragon capsule, and it looks like those are now expanding, that reefing.
Main chute descent rate nominal.
Vimos então a abertura dos 4 paraquedas, os parachutes.
And Dragon copies, nominal chute.
Now this is a really cool view from the Dragon capsule. That's actually from the basin where the main parachutes.
1 kilometer.
1,000 meters, copy.
Metros.
It's a view from where those main parachutes were just located. From this point on, we will hear Commander Peggy Whitson call out the altitude of the Dragon capsule. So we just heard her call out 1 kilometer, meaning 1 kilometer above the ocean surface.
1 quilômetro para a superfície.
800.
Copy, 800.
So at this point in time, we can see we have 4 healthy main parachutes have deployed for the Axiom 2 crew. In a matter of minutes, they have gone from 17,500 miles per hour down to roughly now about 70 miles per hour.
Copy,
even less
600.
than that, when the main parachutes were deployed, they were going about 119 miles per hour. And by the time that they actually land in the water, it's about 10 miles per hour, thereabouts.
Lembrando que agora
Copy,
são
400 meters.
6 horas 4 minutos de quarta-feira, 31 de maio de 2023. São 23 horas 4 minutos na costa leste dos Estados Unidos, na Flórida, no Golfo do México, aproximadamente. É o local onde a Freedom fará o seu splashdown.
200, cruise brace.
200 metros.
Copy, 200 and brace for splashdown.
Right, standing by for splashdown of the Axiom 2 crew.
Aguardando o toque da Freedom no mar para completar a missão Axion 2 com sucesso. Aí vemos então o splashdown.
AX2 is back on Earth.
Os dois tocou o mar do Atlântico, na Baía do...
As you can see on your screen, visual confirmation for splashdown of our Dragon spacecraft. Dragon Freedom has returned home with the AX2 crew.
SpaceX C splashdown and mains cut. At this time, you are go for procedure 4.800.
And we're in that 4.800 splashdown.
SpaceX sees this.
We're in water uprighting.
SpaceX sees the same. Peggy, John, Ali, Rihanna, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
Well, in SpaceX, we would like to tell you that was a phenomenal ride. We really enjoyed all of it. You are the best.
As you can see on your screen, the SpaceX recovery team and vessels have been waiting for Dragon splashdown, which they made on time just 1 minute ago at 8:04 p.m. Pacific. They will now make their way to
Deixe o seu like, compartilhe com os amigos, comente os vídeos. É muito importante a participação de vocês. Muito obrigado mais uma vez ao apoio cultural da Itanet, da maior e a melhor rede de fibra ótica da região, atendendo ao sul do Espírito Santo, norte e noroeste fluminense, região dos lagos, e agora chegando ao Grande Rio. Acesse o site itanet.com e confira os combos e as facilidades que a Itanet tem a lhe oferecer. Lembrando que a Itanet também não é só um provedor de internet, mas também um provedor de cultura, esporte, lazer e entretenimento. Acesse o site itanet.com. Itanet conecta você. Bom dia a todos, ótima quarta-feira. Lembrando que ainda hoje estaremos de volta com mais uma live aqui no canal Olhar Sideral, falando sobre um relatório que a NASA irá divulgar hoje sobre os fenômenos anômalos aeroespacial. Então esperamos aí a participação de vocês, espero que gostem. Se puder, já deixe o seu like, compartilhe e divulgue aí com os amigos o nosso trabalho aqui. Eu sou Robson Rodrigues, repórter, editor e apresentador do canal Olhar Sideral, e esse foi mais uma cobertura aqui no canal. Missão Axion 2 completada com sucesso, 9 dias no espaço, fazendo agora o seu splashdown, seu pouso no mar da Flórida, ok? Um abraço, bom dia a todos, fiquem todos com Deus, na fé de cada um, e até a próxima, se assim Ele nos permitir. Tchau, tchau.
Automatically releases the main parachutes, and that's to help prevent the wind from pulling on the spacecraft. The Dragon then automatically saves any pyrotechnics still present on the vehicle and may...
Dragon, SpaceX is go for recovery personnel to approach. Expect personnel alongside in approximately 1 minute.
We'll be expecting them, thank you.
SpaceX core Michael Blasco just giving the crew a heads up that they can expect some folks to reach the Dragon capsule. So those are the fast boats that we see now approaching. The view that we have now is actually coming to us from our recovery vessel Megan, which is also making its way to the Dragon capsule, but it doesn't go as fast as the fast boats do, so it takes it a little bit longer. So at this point on, we will see the operations get closer and closer into view. But at this point in time, the astronauts remain seated and in their suits.